Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today in this video, I'm going to discuss about is QUIC protocol is better than TCP and UDP. So I hope you know about what is QUIC protocol. So in short, I will say what is QUIC protocol. So that is a QUIC protocol is any that is QUIC protocol full form is Quick UDP internet connection. So that is QUIC full form, that is QUIC. It is a transport layer network protocol designed to improve the performance of a web application by reducing the latency and providing a better congestion control. So this is what is a QUIC protocol means, that QUIC is a modern internet transport protocol designed by Google to be faster and more secure than the TCP and the UDP. So it runs over the UDP, reduce the latency with the faster connection, and has been built in the encryption, which make it ideal for the web browsing, streaming and gaming. So let's move to the video to know which QUIC is better or not than when compared to TCP and UDP.
Transmission Control Protocol. TCP is reliable and accurate. If you need to send something like a file or a block of text, it will do its darndest best to get that exact data from point A to point B no matter what happens in transit. Part of your message got lost? It will resend it and make sure the application receives everything. Data corruption? It detects it and fixes it without the application even noticing anything ever happened. Did parts of your message get out of order? TCP adds sequence numbers to everything, so it'll reassemble your message in the right order. Hey, maybe you're scared that you will overwhelm the receiver or destabilize the network. TCP tries not to do that by using techniques for flow and congestion control, like gradually ramping up and hitting the brakes when data loss occurs. Before any data is sent, TCP has to set up an open connection between the hosts. This is done by performing a handshake ritual. Client asks server to set up a connection, server agrees, client confirms the agreement, and we're ready to go. In addition to your data, the connection carries delivery confirmations and other technical info to coordinate a successful delivery. The user datagram protocol, on the other hand, is fast and simple. It doesn't mess around. You ask it to send something and it's ready to go. No connection handshakes, no ramp up, no delivery confirmations, just rapid fire. Now sure, data may get lost or out of order, but depending on what you're doing, that might not be that big of a problem. And for video chat or other applications that are sensitive to lag, it's no beating around the bush nature can help minimize latency. UDP does not attempt to fix corrupted data, so depending on the situation, it will either pass on damaged packets with a warning or just toss them out. And that's assuming error detection is even possible. UDP relies on a checksum to detect errors, and under IP version 4, that checksum is not mandatory. There's one interesting thing UDP can do that TCP can't, and that's sending information to multiple receivers at once. If you want to address a list of receivers, you'll want to use multicast. Or maybe you want to shout something from the rooftops for the entire network to hear, and that's what a broadcast does. A common example of this is when a host joins a network and wants an IP address, but doesn't know who to ask for one. More on that in my video about DHCP. As you probably noticed, these two protocols are very different from one another. That's why they're both useful for different reasons. Want to send a file over the internet? Then TCP's reliable delivery is probably your best bet. But maybe you want the lowest latency possible and don't mind some dropped packets. UDP is actually a fairly common choice for video calling or online gaming. And then there's this guy. QUIC is a new protocol that wants to do everything TCP offers, but with less latency and with extra features. I'm calling it new here because although research on QUIC started in 2012, TCP has been around since the 70s and already benefited from decades of optimizations. Interestingly, QUIC was not made from scratch. It was built on top of UDP. This maximizes backwards compatibility with existing internet infrastructure, while due to UDP's bare-bones nature, still offering a lot of freedom to do things differently than TCP did. Despite QUIC still being in development as I'm producing this, you're probably viewing this video on a website that is already running on it. Yeah, that's right. The HTTP 3 standard has ditched TCP in favor of QUIC. In fact, Chrome has supported QUIC for a while, which isn't that surprising because it's originally a Google invention. So what's to like about QUIC? Well, let's start with performance enhancements. You know how when you go to a web page, a bunch of images and other stuff are downloaded? In HTTP 1.1, a separate TCP connection had to be set up for every parallelly loaded resource. Every time you have to set up a new connection, that's busy work. Now, sure, you could repurpose existing connections to load multiple resources one after another, but it is still a bottleneck. HTTP 2 solved that by enabling multiple HTTP transactions to take place simultaneously over one TCP connection, which is fine until a piece of data has to be retransmitted. You see, since TCP by itself doesn't support simultaneous streams, HTTP 2 is kind of faking it on the application layer. It suffers from head-of-line blocking. If there's a transmission problem on the first stream, HTTP 2 cannot continue processing the second stream until TCP sorts it out. QUIC solves this by implementing support for multiple streams in the transport layer. So not only is this fixed in HTTP 3, any application protocol that runs on QUIC can use it. Another improvement over TCP is in the complexity of the connection setup. QUIC assumes you always want your communication to be encrypted. If you had to set up a secure TCP connection, you would have to do a three-way TCP handshake followed by a TLS handshake. Well, no more. QUIC takes over the task of data encryption from the application layer by integrating the TLS handshake in the connection setup. Ding, dong, done. Every incoming packet is encrypted separately so that the receiver can start decrypting them as soon as possible. This once again prevents head-of-line blocking. QUIC also has an edge over TCP if you often switch networks. Suppose you were downloading a big file over TCP as you switch from a mobile internet connection to Wi-Fi. As you disconnect from your previous network, the transfer can be disrupted. But not to fear. QUIC has a connection migration feature, ensuring your connection will survive even as you switch networks. Now, QUIC isn't the holy grail here. It doesn't quite have the maturity of TCP yet. Whether QUIC can match the performance of TCP depends on several factors, and lab conditions can be different from the real world. So we're not sure yet if QUIC will ever beat TCP in every possible situation, but things are looking good as QUIC continues to evolve. If you really want the lowest possible latency above everything else, UDP is still a very compelling candidate. Maybe you don't need any bells and whistles, in which case you can avoid QUIC's connection overhead by choosing UDP. It all depends on the nature of your application and what you value most. Bottom line is, both UDP and TCP still serve an important purpose, and that's not changing anytime soon. So this was an update of a video